I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Raimund Juralovic. He is head of strategic finance at VALOREO. Raimund, it is so great to see you. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Pleasure to be here, Judy. Thanks a lot for having me.
So a quick note to our viewers, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Raimund, tell me, how does VALOREO work? What's your business model?
I think VALOREO is how we call it, the next generation e-commerce powerhouse in Latin America. And essentially what we do is we acquire, operate, and scale successful businesses, successful brands, and take them to the next stage of growth. Our thesis is really built around kind of being the best and the most efficient operator in the fastest growing e-commerce market in the world. So if you look at kind of e-commerce markets globally, LATAM is the fastest growing market, growing at around 20 to 40% annually, depending on the source. And essentially, the way it works, we acquire businesses that sell online through marketplaces such as Amazon or Mercado Libre. And then we take on operations fully. So we acquire the 100% stake and we start operating the businesses end to end. So essentially we have supply chain capabilities, procurement, marketing, commercial operations, etc. And where we really add value is, we acquire businesses from the sellers that are kind of have reached their peak, so to speak. So, they're not able to run it as efficiently. They're lacking some capabilities across different functions. Where we add value is essentially we have specialized team of 200 superstars, as we call them, who are really the best in the field. And then we're able to really grow those brands beyond the market growth rates organically. On top of that, what we do is we have access to capital, and essentially we can do things that the previous owners couldn't do in terms of expanding brands into different countries, in terms of growing them, adding incremental products, etc. And so it's really a business model that helps the consumer at the end of the day, because we're bringing better service and better product to consumer, but also it provides a very great exit opportunity for the sellers because they can monetize their businesses and they know that the business is actually in the safe hands that will grow their businesses to the next level.
Okay, and how do you intend to differentiate yourself from your competition?
So in LATAM, and it's a very good question, in LATAM, there are two key business approaches to what we do. Our competitors are focused on partnering with the businesses whereby they invest into stakes of the businesses, but they keep the entrepreneurs operating the business. We typically acquire the brands in full and we fully consolidate operations. And what it really helps us to do is to scale efficiently and really bring in those cost savings that we were speaking about. And we believe that our approach really enables us to bring more value in the long run because we have specialized teams on the procurement side, on the supply chain side, commercial operations, customer service, etc. So we don't just provide the capital to the people, we actually bring in expertise of a team that's super strong. I think we have the best talent in Latin America, and we're really able to kind of really dedicate the time and expertise where the seller himself with a small team couldn't focus as much on each specific item and have this perfect playbook that we have. Therefore, I think in the long term, there's a tremendous advantage in what we do in terms of both revenue growth and profitability. But that being said, I think the beauty of LATAM is that it's so nascent in terms of the market, and it's such a big opportunity that we think that there's certainly room for more than one player to be successful and for multiple business models to kind of work in conjunction. At the end of the day, just benefiting the consumer.
Raimund, what do you think you'll be able to achieve with the brands you acquired?
Yeah, so I think we started in late 2020, and we already have seen tremendous growth potential that we can deliver. I think, as I mentioned, we are in the market that's growing 20 to 40% per year organically, and then on top of that, we see tremendous value levers, both in terms of the simple things, so improving things such as listing quality, product design, customer service experience, among others, that help us to grow beyond that organic growth. On top of that, there are levers that are kind of much greater in the magnitude, such as bringing the brands from, say, Mexico to Brazil and other LATAM countries, launching additional products, entering different channels. So, for example, LATAM is very complex in the sense that it's not just Amazon where everyone buys it. Actually, in Mexico, Amazon, is just kind of 20% market share, give or take. In Brazil, it's 10%. So you have different marketplaces, different channels online where you can enter. So sometimes the sellers are lacking, expertise and capabilities to be across the channels, and we see a lot of value in bringing the products across the channels, across the countries. And I think the real testament to that was kind of performance in November and December last year, where in the strongest kind of and the most important months for retail, we were able to grow the brands by close to 100% organically year over year by leveraging our capabilities and kind of doing things right.
So now congratulations are in order. You just announced a Series B fundraise. Now tell me, what are you going to do with the capital that you've raised?
Yeah, so essentially, just to give a little bit more context, it was an 80 million Series B fundraise led by El Caterton, the largest private equity fund in the world that's focused on consumer space. So we're super happy and super excited to have them on board, and we see tremendous, value that they can bring on board. And in terms of, the things that we're focusing on in the near term, I think we really have built up the operating machine. So we have 200 employees, really the best talent in place. It's really focused firstly on acquiring further brands and expanding our portfolio. So that will be, the main focus. On top of that, I think we have really exceptional capabilities on the technology side. We have a super strong team, and we're building capabilities that none of the other players have in the market. So a lot of investment will go into the tech side. On top of that, as I mentioned, we're super focused on organic growth. So we'll be doing a lot of initiatives in terms of bringing new products, new kind of stock keeping units that we launch, etc., to bring in organic growth, and obviously expanding our brands from one geography to the other. So we see tremendous opportunity in terms of bringing brands from one country in Latin to another, and this way expanding our reach and making adding value to consumers.
All right, well, Raimund, it's been wonderful to talk with you. Congratulations again, and thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thanks a lot, Judy. Pleasure.